Welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole, a podcast for creators, where we stream live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Twitter Spaces. TyfloRen and myself will be talking about big streamers and why people may not support them. So we really just want to kind of look at it and kind of break it down and then come out with an answer. Now, we're not necessarily looking to say, hey, this is the definitive answer of should you or shouldn't you support big streamers. That would be gatekeeping, and that's not something that either one of us are looking to do, but we want to kind of give our take on it and hopefully enlighten some people with our views. And we may not agree on every point, and honestly, that is 100% okay. So as we kind of take a look at this, the first question we kind of want to talk about is, well, what is a big streamer? Is it defined based on your CCV, your concurrent viewers, follower count, sub count, some kind of combination? What do you think, Tyflo?
So my definition of a big streamer, and I'm going to cite TyfloRen as a source for this, we both agree that around the 50 average CCV is when you can consider streamers to be considered big or growing. And her specific definition and reasoning for this is she has noticed a pattern around the 50 CCV viewer mark that more viewers and like even raids will start coming in for the streamer because all those viewers want to help quote unquote push that said streamer to partner numbers and to hopefully get a purple check mark.
My definition of that is a little bit different. Again, I also am looking at CCV. I'm not concerned with sub count or follower count for various reasons, but yeah, for CCV, for me, I kind of look at an ex-Twitch employee, Sam Chen, who came out last summer and caused a bit of drama with some of his revelations about revelations about how Twitch looks at it internally. And for what he came up with, what he told everybody on Twitter is that under 100 is considered a small streamer in their mindset. Between 100 and 500 is your mid-sized streamer, and I think it was like 1,000 and up was a larger streamer. So, I'm kind of looking at that 100 mark as what is considered a big streamer. So we're thinking the cutoff would be 50 to the 100 range. Do you think, Ty, that you're considered a big streamer just because you're a partner, or do you think it really is just the follower count? I mean, the CCV.
I think there's a complicated answer to that. As what I said with TyfloRen's source, with her seeing that around the 50 CCV mark is when streamers start to get influxes of viewership. I think at that point, yes, you can be considered a growing big streamer, but once you reach the check mark, there is the added risk of quote unquote falling off or losing part of your viewership, because some of those viewers that pushed you to partner will want to find another up and coming growing streamer that they want to also push to partner. So you run that risk, and I think I'm going to be very careful on how I say fall off, like if you fall off from your viewership, because if you're still averaging like double digits in general, like you can still be considered a medium to big streamer. But yes, I think let's say you reach 75 average CCV, you fall off a little bit, you still have your check mark. People are still coming in to watch you. If you're still around that 50 CCV mark, I would still consider you to be a big streamer, because you are meeting what TyfloRen describes it as. And I take a lot of what TyfloRen says to heart.
And I agree with you. This is a very complicated question, because I know for a fact that, there are a number of partners that once they hit that 75 mark and they get that partnership, they start to dip, whether it's immediate or whether it's down the road. But people still consider them a bigger streamer simply because they have that check mark. So, if something we'll talk about a little bit later in terms of, supporting the big streamers, if somebody has a goal and they're at, say, 45, they say, hey, let's get up to 100 CCV, right? But they're a partner. Would people actually support them still? Or would they more likely to support somebody who's at 45 CCV but they're not a partner yet? What do you think about that?
I almost want to go with the second point of supporting someone that's around the 45 mark and about to reach partner, because it's kind of like that budding step, or that nearing that, I guess, like a major stepping stone for that streamer. And it's not like I would stop supporting any like partner who got their check mark. I will admit I still hang out in like partnered stream friends that are partnered streamers like McQueen, Rare Gangster, like just to name a few. And I still have like great conversations with them, despite them having like a very active chat, and a lot of people who have like known them longer than myself. Um, it's just that you have that temptation to help and be a part of like a new up and coming streamers
Right.
defining moment with them at the 45-50 CCV, and then being there to help push them to their next level.
And there's something to be said for that desire to help somebody get there. You know, there's a reason why there are on-screen alerts for shout outs, for follows, for subs, for all that kind of stuff. There's a reason why Twitch created moments and said, hey, let your community know they were there for something special. People like to be
absolutely.
part of something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think, you know, you really like, you kind of work together. You come together as a community, all the community, right? Because you come together and you're working towards that common goal. And then once you hit it, you're like, that's exciting. All right, what's the next thing we have to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking at my list of questions here, and I'm dangerously starting to jump a section, but I will leave that at that. Everybody in who's listening, thank you guys for showing up. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. It also would help a lot if you like and share this as well. Helps bring more people in, and that pushes out to more people. It's an algorithm just like any other platform. So moving on from what is a big streamer, we kind of talked about that. Tyflo, what makes you support any streamer?
This is a little bit biased on my take, but relatability is a huge factor into why I support someone. And the thing with relatability is it's such a broad topic. Relatability could be like a similar background, or playing like some of our favorite games, and then like having that kind of connection.
Yep.
Or it could be like meeting someone from another streamer. Like, a personal example is like I wouldn't have met streamers like Bearded Nova and Insane Troll if I didn't take the time to ask you and your community critical questions. And I feel like forming those kinds of genuine connections is one of the reasons why I love supporting creators regardless of their size.
Yeah, I agree. Relatability is a big deal. I like to know if I have something in common, or they're doing something that I'm interested in, that makes it a lot more likely that I would want to support them. And everybody's a little bit different, right? So I like to have a conversation with people, which is odd because I'm introverted, but and I don't like a lot of people in general. But anyway, I like to have that conversation. If I want to watch, I don't get that interested in just watching gameplay. When I'm watching gameplay, it's because I want to learn something. And if I want to learn something, it's much easier for me just to go to YouTube and look it up, because I'm probably looking for a very specific thing. Watching generic gameplay at a random point in a game doesn't help me. I would be there for the experience, for the environment. And the environment, part of it is that conversation. So I want to be able to hear their opinion on something, whether it's about the kind of niche I have or not, whatever it is. And, in some circumstances I want to lurk, some circumstances I want to interact with them. But it's about their personality. It's about their energy level. It's about the conversation. And if I don't have that, then I'm not interested in staying and supporting that streamer. And I don't mean supporting just from like a monetary standpoint. I mean, literally, we all know this. You know this, Ty. If somebody is in your chat, if they're just a lurker, that is still literally supporting you.
100%.
Everything somebody does in stream, whether they give you money or they don't, they're just talking, or if they're not talking, they're just watching. It all helps us. It's all a form of support. And yeah, I agree with you on relatability. Absolutely.
100%.
So we're looking at supporting people because they're relatable. It could be conversation. You support their goals. and their goals could be their follower goals, their daily sub goals, whatever it is. Do you feel that you are interested in supporting goals, or is it just something that you just kind of ignore?
I think I want to support the goals regardless of what they may be, and especially if I can relate to those goals as well. And if I'm going to be completely honest, um, whether they're intrinsic goals or extrinsic goals regarding analytics or a numbers-based goal, like, hey, I want to reach partner in X amount of months or whatever, like maybe it's not something that are my personal goals, but they're still valid goals nonetheless. And I'll even give a hot take on this. Blue Thunder a little while back even admitted that he wanted Twitch partner and the purple check mark for the prestige, the clout, and I still supported him on that. It's and the reason why I still supported him with that is he was at least being honest with it. So yes, in general, I do support streamer goals, whether they are intrinsic, extrinsic, numbers based, or something like internal to the streamer themselves.
I agree with you here, which I actually think makes understanding the mindset of people that do feel that way a little bit more difficult for me to kind of rationalize. And like you mentioned before, being relatable. A lot of people are well below that 75 mark. At that point, I'm wondering if people just see, okay, they are no longer relatable to me. Whatever it is, it's tough. I'm sure Blue Thunder feels this. I don't want to speak for him, but he is the same person as before he made partner. But a lot of people get, I think, honestly jealous or they feel resentful of people that achieve a level of success, and that all results in the common understanding of, hey, you're not relatable. I'm not going to support you anymore. That's why you, as a big streamer, I'm not going to support you. You don't think somebody, and I know I always use this name, but it's the most recognizable name. XQC doesn't have goals he wants to achieve. Do we support them any less because they're at a different stage of their life? I don't think that's fair, but I guess it kind of is what it is. So that kind of leads us into my, this next question here. Do you support big streamers?
Yes, I still do. And before I delve into that, I also want to include Insane Trill's comment here. The right people will support you regardless of your goals, as long as you aren't only asking for donos, etc. So that's something that I want to tie into your question. A lot of like big streamers that I follow, quote unquote, like their goals aren't specifically like for money or like to make full-time streaming their only source of income. In fact, several streamers that I know that are partnered still work full-time jobs. I believe Rare Gangster still works a full-time job. I'm not entirely sure about McQueeb's situation, but I know with McQueeb's situation, it's not entirely for the money. He's been very open about this, and the times that I have chatted with him and his chat is like very genuine, and like I can still feel that relatability that he still tries to provide even before he was partner.
Do you think that a lot of people, if they're in the camp of I don't support big streamers, it's because they think they've quote unquote made it, and that financially and the finances of them being a partner come into play in terms of the bias against them?
Unfortunately, yes, because when people do see that purple check mark, they think they made it, that they're already like living off of subs or like any other kinds of donations.
Yeah.
In reality, like it's probably even more difficult in certain ways for that said partner. Now, I will say that having that partner checkmark does open up different avenues for sponsorships besides like W Energy or like Raise Energy, to name a few. Like it provides that verification that those sponsorships can trust that specific creator because they have something to showcase that they can pull in a considerable amount of viewership.
But I think what a lot of people don't take into account, if that is one of the main reasons why they don't support big streamers, because they think that they're no longer relatable, that they're financially they're well above them, and so there could be a bit of resentment or whatever. I believe 52,000 partners. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only about 2 to 3,000 partners that make above minimum wage. That there's like 98% of partners, 95% of partners still need to work other jobs. And hell, even if you're just making minimum wage, you probably still need to work another job to have because that's not necessarily a living wage. It's minimum wage, but it's not a living wage. So I would say still most partners, 98, 99% of them, I'm gonna guess, still need to work other jobs. They still aren't, financially stable. And because content creation, because streaming, the finances of it are so variable from month to month. How many partners do you see? Partners that still have to do constant subathons because they're not getting that income level that they need.
Right. And I guess to bounce off that point even further, some of those partners who are in desperate need of a stable income will take those ad incentives, quote unquote, whatever they may be. I know they vary from streamer to streamer. Not everyone has like the same amount of like, oh, you get X amount of dollars for running like this many ads. I made a tweet about this earlier too. I still support streamers like regardless of partnership or average CCV. Like if they take that ad revenue incentive, it shows that they're serious about having some sort of stable income to keep them creating.
So I guess bottom line is, we're saying a quote unquote big streamer is between 50 and 100, CCV. And that, my opinion, if you supported a streamer before they hit partner, before they were considered big, you should probably just continue to support them after they get big or after they hit partner, because they still need you as part of their community. They still need you to help grow whatever goals it is that they have.
Absolutely, 100%. And just because a streamer grows to a certain number or continues to grow does not mean they intentionally want to lose connection with their chat or to like have personal connections within individuals within their community.
Yeah. If you want another analogy that might help people understand what it's like, when you go from a quote unquote smaller or non-partner streamer to a bigger or partnered streamer, and what that feels like, think about like, for anyone here that went to college, you were in high school and you're graduating as a senior in high school, and you're kind of at that peak level of high school, and you're the big man on campus. And then you go to college and you're one of like 20,000 people. You're lost. There's maybe no one around that and now you don't know what to do, but you're in college now. So everybody from high school is like, oh wow, this person's in college, everything's going great. But it's not. You might feel alone, you might feel lost, you might feel whatever. And when these people just make partner and they hit their 75 for a couple months in a row, and Twitch gives them that partnership, they get that tick, and they're like, oh, you're great, like XQC, or you're like whoever. No, I am not. Those partners, they look at you like you're barely a partner. I can tell you for a fact, they look like you're a super affiliate. That's what they're gonna say. You know what I mean? And so that person still needs your support. They still need to have that sense of community to feel like they belong in.
I really like that spot on college analogy. Just because, like you said, you may have graduated from a certain level, but you're in a whole brand new ocean. And when you reach partnership, you need to still want to like have those connections with your viewers, and also mutuals who don't have partner, and even more so to find mutuals that have partnership and are either relatively around the same size of viewership or like community size, or like someone that may be a bigger partner than you that can still relate to you and sort of be like a mentor to you.
Once again, Tyflo, it was awesome having that conversation with you. So thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and share the podcast. Don't forget, we are here every Wednesday on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. If you have a comment or an idea for a future episode, make sure to drop us an email at downtherabbithole@elevated.media. Thanks. Have a great day.